The American track and field scene just changed, and some of the biggest names in the sport are no longer the only stars everyone is watching. The 2026 USATF Outdoor Championships brought together America's fastest athletes, biggest personalities, established champions, and hungry newcomers. 4 days, one national championship, and countless moments where careers were pushed to another level. Noah Lyles came looking to prove his speed. Sha'Carri Richardson came looking to reclaim the spotlight. But while the established stars were fighting for glory, a new wave of American athletes was making its own statement. And one of the biggest surprises came in the women's 200 meters. Melissa Jefferson Wooden didn't just win. She ran 21.69 seconds. Suddenly, the American sprint picture looks even more dangerous. So what happened in New York? Who dominated? Who surprised everyone? And which new champions could become America's next global stars? Let's break down the biggest storylines from the 2026 USA Track and Field Championships. New York becomes the center of American athletics. From July 23rd through July 26th, Icon Stadium in New York became the stage for the nation's biggest track and field championship. Athletes arrived with different goals. Some were defending titles. Some were trying to make their first major breakthrough. Others were simply fighting to prove that they belonged among America's elite. That mixture created an incredibly competitive championship. And because American track and field has so much depth, even reaching a final can be a major achievement. But once the finals began, the biggest names had to deliver. And that's exactly what happened. Noah Lyles sends a massive message. Let's start with Noah Lyles. The American superstar entered the men's 100 meters carrying enormous expectations. He already had an incredible resume, but the 2026 championships gave him another opportunity to show exactly how fast he could be. And Lyles didn't waste it. He stormed to victory in the men's 100-meter final in 9.79 seconds, with a legal plus 0.8 meters per second wind. That performance matched his personal best and stood as a world-leading mark at the championship. Think about that for a moment. The pressure of a national championship. The strongest sprinters in America standing beside him. And Lyles responded with one of the fastest races of his career. It wasn't simply a victory. It was a warning. The depth behind Lyles. What made Lyles' victory even more impressive was the strength of the field behind him. Ronnie Baker and Kenny Bednarik both finished in 9.88 seconds. Christian Coleman crossed in 9.93. Courtney Lindsay ran 9.97. And Brandon Hicklin finished with 10.00. That's an extraordinary level of sprinting. America isn't producing just one elite 100-meter athlete. There is an entire group capable of running at world-class speed. And that depth could become extremely important when international competition intensifies. Sha'Carri Richardson reclaims the women's 100. Then came Sha'Carri Richardson. The women's 100-meter final had its own major storyline. Richardson entered the race knowing that the competition would be fierce. But she delivered when it mattered most. She crossed the line in 10.77 seconds, winning the U.S. women's 100-meter title. Kayla White finished second in 10.90, while Tamari Davis took third in 11.00. Richardson's performance immediately became one of the championship's defining moments. The speed was back. The confidence was visible. And once again, she had placed herself at the center of the American sprint conversation. But then the 200 meters changed the story. The women's 200 meters produced another major headline. And this time, the champion wasn't Richardson. It was Melissa Jefferson Wooden. She ran an outstanding 21.69 seconds to win the national title. Cambria Sturgis finished second in 22.22, while Cameron Dixon took third in 22.58. That 21.69 performance immediately made Jefferson Wooden one of the biggest names to watch coming out of the championship. It also showed something important. American women's sprinting is becoming increasingly difficult to predict. There isn't just one dominant name. There are multiple athletes capable of taking control of a major race. The rise of a new champion. Jefferson Wooden's victory represents the kind of storyline that makes national championships so exciting. The established stars receive the attention. But every championship creates an opportunity for someone else to step forward. That's exactly what happened in the 200 meters. She didn't need to wait for the future. She seized the moment. And now the rest of the world has another American sprinter to watch. Why America's sprint depth matters. The biggest takeaway from the championship may not be one individual result. It could be the depth. Look at the men's 100 meters. Lyles ran 9.79. Baker and Bednarik ran 9.88. Coleman ran 9.93. Several other athletes were under or around the 10-second mark. Now look at the women's sprint picture. Richardson ran 10.77 in the 100. Jefferson Wooden ran 21.69 in the 200. White, Davis, Sturgis, Dixon, and others are also producing major performances. This is not simply a collection of individual stars. It's an entire ecosystem of elite competition. The pressure of wearing USA across your chest. For American athletes, national championships carry a unique pressure. They aren't simply racing against international opponents. They're racing against teammates, rivals, training partners, and sometimes even athletes they've known for years. The 2026 American track and field story is far from finished. Noah Lyles has sent a warning with 9.79. Sha'Carri Richardson has reminded everyone that she is still a major force. And Melissa Jefferson Wooden has emerged as another name the world needs to remember. But here's the real question. Who will be America's next breakout superstar? Will the established champions continue to dominate? Or will another new name suddenly take over the spotlight? One thing is certain. The race for American track and field glory has never been more exciting. If you enjoyed this full breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more USA track and field news, Noah Lyles updates, Sha'Carri Richardson stories, championship results, and the biggest moments from world athletics. The champions are changing. The competition is getting faster. And America's next track and field superstar could be just one race away.